Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and tonight I'm joined by my lovely co host, Dana.
Hey.
We are officially starting season 2 of Dawson's Creek. We watched
Woo.
episodes 1 through 3, so I will roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So, I'm going to play the promo for the premiere, like we've been doing, and then we can get into the episode. So, let's get this up.
I'm coming home to you.
Tonight, a new season begins.
Where were you last night? Dawson.
Everything's different now. You've got Joey, and our friendship, it just can't compare with what you got.
I love him, and I want him back. And we're gonna get him back for you. You violated me. You betrayed me.
I'm new in town. I'm hard up for friends, okay? I'll take what I can get, including you.
No offense, but this isn't gonna happen.
Joey doesn't have to know.
Now the WB Television Network presents the season premiere of Dawson's Creek.
That was kind of a mixed bag of multiple episodes.
Yeah. There was a couple parts of I'm sure it's gonna happen. I guess some of the stuff's gonna happen later on, but
Yeah.
most of it was in there.
Yeah.
I recognize some of that. Yeah.
So we open up in Dawson's room like we usually do, but this time we're picking up from the cliffhanger of him finally kissing Joey.
Right. Ugh.
And I don't know if they put like a hairpiece on James Vanderbeek because he clearly got a haircut, and it looked like they were trying to make it look like he still had last season's hair.
I was wondering that too. I was like, I have my peep in the wigs. Like, if everybody's got a wig on, I'm always like wig. And I was thinking that. I was like, this looks like he's wearing a wig. Or like they're trying to make it look as long as it was before, because his hair was very voluminous, if I remember last time. And this was like his head.
Mhm. Well, now he has like his Varsity Blues hair from that movie he did. And they're making out hardcore, and now he wants to talk. All of a sudden, he wants to talk about his feelings, and Joey keeps having like these moments where she looks like she wants to close her eyes and just keep kissing. And then he wants to talk. I'm like, now you want to talk? She's like, shut the fuck up and just kiss me.
Oh yeah, Dawson had a propensity to like insert, like, just to ruin things for himself. Like throughout this entire little interaction, he keeps like going, "What do you mean?" And then like, "I don't know what's going on." And then it's kind of like she keeps getting into the trance and coming back out of it. That's what it keeps like looking like. And I was just like, "Yeah, that's right. Ruin it, Dawson. Go ahead, just ruin it."
There were so many moments throughout this episode where I heard you in my head screaming, "Go to France!"
Go to France! Yeah, like, and I was like, I guess she's not going to France. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And the whole back and forth, like, once they finally broke up, like the kissing, like they can get oxygen to the brain for like a minute or two.
When he said we should sleep on it, and then like he jokingly said, "Pretend like it never happened," and then he like took it back, and she was like, "Yeah, never happened." Oof. And then I heard you go say, "Good, go to France."
Yeah, there, go to France. Yeah, no. That was, well, you heard me right.
So it's the next morning, and they're kind of in their afterglow. Bessie's like picking on her. She's like, "Why are you so cheery?" She's like, "You're usually like scowly." Like, she's like, "Did you have a lot of coffee today?"
Well, this is true. Joey does not look happy half of the time.
Yeah.
It's different.
We see Dawson's parents, and Gail looks like she's trying to like reignite the flame between her and Mitch, but he's kind of still pushing her away a little bit.
Not having it. Not having none of it. No, sir.
How are you feeling about them? Do you feel like they should work it out?
Well, so I feel two ways about it, because like I totally get where Mitch is at. I totally get it. But at the same time, you can obviously see Gail is trying. She's very much like falling on her sword, doing whatever it takes to go to therapy and he's still struggling, and it's kind of like, again, like, I don't know about timing. Like, I guess let's say it's been like a handful of months since
Yeah.
he's known. Like, that's still not a lot of time to get over, because 15 something years of marriage, that's a lot. And
Right.
so I'm torn. I'm really torn by this. Yeah.
I kind of feel bad for her because she's walking on eggshells and she feels like she needs to explain her every move because she doesn't want him to feel like she's sneaking around. She's like, there was
Exactly.
traffic, and he's like, I know, I heard about it on the radio, and she's like, okay, good.
Right. Yeah.
Because she was
That's
like,
what I mean. Like, there's no way for anyone to live, whatever they did. Like, it's kind of, that's where it's like, it's on Mitch. If Mitch can't get him together to like be, or like if their relationship is irrevocably broken, he has to acknowledge that they can move on with their lives. Divorce is not as bad as everyone in the show likes to make it sound. It
yeah,
happens, but you don't get to torture someone for a mistake they made. Is kind of why I'm torn. I get why he's mad, but you don't get to
yeah.
like Gail doesn't get to walk on eggshells for the rest of her life.
I guess he's still confused too. I guess he's trying to work out if he thinks he can forgive her.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, if it's been a handful of months, I get it. But if it's been like a year since, it's kind of like, sugar off the pot, dude. Like,
Yeah.
you gotta figure it out.
I think it's
one way
only
or
been
the
a few
other.
months because this is the same school year.
Okay.
So yeah.
So then, yeah, Gail needs to be a little bit more patient. Take your time.
But he's like weighing his options. He went to see a divorce lawyer.
Yeah.
Which Gail found the card for, and she's like, do you want to work this out or do you want to get a divorce? And he's like, I haven't decided which option I want yet. And I'm just like, oh, okay. So that's kind of where they're at. So Dawson and Joey decide that they're gonna have their first date. And I always laugh at this one line. She says, she's like, oh, I don't know. She's like, I was gonna watch TV. I hear Luke Perry's back on 90210. And he was. That was like the season that he came back to 90210.
Yeah. Yeah, there was like a couple moments when I felt myself turning over because I was like, oh, look how happy she is. She's so happy that they're like finally confessed to each other. And he seems genuinely happy too. And I just still think she should have went to France regardless of the situation.
Right.
But
We saw her
I
talking.
kept finding myself, oh.
We saw her talking to the teacher and telling her she wasn't going to France. So
Yeah. And I was like, no, girl, you don't regret it. But whatever.
So Jen comes to school and she tells them that her grandfather died.
Yeah.
We have to keep in mind this is technically the next morning, so it's still the same school year. Jen also got a haircut, but I feel like they're trying to hide it by putting these twisties in it.
Yeah, when I saw the new intro, I was like, oh, everybody, again, we're talking about, everybody got their glow up, their season 2 glow up, everybody's feeling themselves. And I saw her lovely short haircut that she's very well known for. I love Michelle Williams in the short hair. And
so
it was very cute.
I feel like they may have filmed out of order because Pacey gets his tips frosted, and I feel like maybe he started the season with his tips frosted and then they dyed it darker because he did a few movies where he's either bleach blonde or he just has frosted tips. So I feel like he filmed his dark hair last.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Tips. Yeah, because he's bleach blonde in Cruel Intentions, and I think he's either bleach blonde or has like frosted tips for Urban Legends, which was in that year. So
you're just taking me back. Frosted tips. They're coming back, but we're into doing frosted tips again, and I'm like, this was not one of the things that should be brought back.
Some of Dawson's outfit, his cargo pants with like his like sweater vest over his t-shirt. I'm like, oh my god, that was such a look back then.
Yeah, the whole thing. It was a vibe. The whole thing was a super vibe, and I was just like, oh god, we're gonna get closer and closer to like more Y2K like life. The the low jeans, the The flares, the sketty straps, and the butterfly clips.
Oh
Oh God, I'm ready for this, but yes, I'm ready. But yeah.
um, so Pacey just like has free reign of like a cop car. Like he just takes Doug's cop car that he could drive around.
He's got no shame. I keep more bad for Pacey too, though. You know, he's struggling
Yeah.
with a lot of things.
Um, a young driver hits the cop car, even though it was probably his fault. And she panics, and she actually thinks he's a cop, and he like messes with her. But then she sees him at school, and she nicknames him Officer Pacey.
I like Andy. I think she's really cute. I like her as a new character. She's given me all kinds of good vibes from C in a way. I feel like she's a great counter to him because he's so unhinged.
Yeah,
And she's so very much like, by the book, gotta do the right thing kind of thing.
yeah, she's a good student.
Yeah.
She has a brother, Jack, but he doesn't come in this episode, I don't think. Um, so Dawson checks on Jen to see how she's doing, and she says that her grandmother went to the movies, and he's like, "You didn't want to go?" And she's like, "No, I decided to stay home and just like, hate the world or whatever, or bitch about the world." And he like convinces her she should get out of the house. So I guess he kind of like didn't realize he was like inviting her to go to the movies.
I don't think he invited her at all. I think he was trying to help her, and she really still like Jen has killing me in this episode and the next two.
Mhm.
She is just letting her grief make her regress.
Yeah.
And I think she's focusing that energy onto Dawson. And I
Mhm.
think she literally was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go because he said that he was gonna be here,"
Right.
kind of thing. I don't think he actually invited her at all. I think she just kind of was like, "I'm just gonna do whatever now.
Okay.
Who cares anymore?"
Yeah, I thought
What's the
maybe
point?
she misinterpreted it as like a group hang, like kind of like in the pilot when they all went to the movies.
Right. Maybe. I mean, like, I don't know. I think a lot of it to me, I didn't pick that up at all. I didn't think I think he was just trying to like console her. And
Yeah,
she is I don't care about anything anymore. What's the point
right.
of caring anything
I mean,
anymore?
yeah, she
So
definitely
she's
is
being
giving off the vibe of she's playing like she doesn't know about him and Joey, but like she does. And I feel like she feels threatened
yeah,
by Joey now, and so she's got the claws out.
yeah. I
Um,
don't think she can be super ignorant to them because she's been kind of weirdly like pushing Joey to say something to Dawson leading up to this.
mhm.
Like she was one of the people that was telling Dawson how Joey feels about him. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
there's no way she can pretend. I don't know. Yeah.
Um, Andy says that she'll help Pacey get a date with this popular cheerleader senior, and she talks to her, and she agrees to like go out with him. And we find out later
Mhm.
that Andy said he had a heart stripe and that he could die at any moment, pretty much. It would like strangle
I
him.
don't know. I mean, again, the audacity of Pacey knows no bounds. Like he can cut out in front of this girl, get into an accident with her, basically play her the whole time, get caught in school, tell her she can't do anything about it, and then believe her that she was going to talk him up to a
Mhm.
popular girl at school that nothing was gonna come out of it. I was like, wow, wow, okay. Whatever you say, Pace.
Um,
And
I don't know if you
so
recognize the girl though, the cheerleader, the blonde. That was Allie Larder. She is probably known more for like Final Destination.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
wasn't she was in Heroes,
She was in Heroes. Yes,
the
that's
show.
Allie Larder. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my god, I love Holly Water. Yeah, I've been trying to peep out some people that in another episode, I think I caught another special guest too that we'll
Did you?
get to.
Oh, okay.
I think so, but you'll have to confirm it for me when we get there.
Okay. I don't know who you're talking about. um, So she ends up having a boyfriend, and she just wanted to like meet up with him and tell Pacey that she thinks he's really brave. She's like, I suffer from asthma, and I wouldn't want people to treat me differently. I'm like, okay, your heart's in the right place, but you're a little bit ditzy.
Oh my god. Oh
She's like,
my
we're celebrating
god.
our 5-week anniversary. I'm like, oh, that's such a high school thing.
Yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the conversation between Joey and Bessie about the second kiss being the rational one.
Yep.
And I like how Bessie was like, I prefer the second kiss. And she like
Yeah,
reassured her
because
that she'll get that second kiss.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't wrong. A lot of what she was saying was true. Because I do remember feeling like a little like self-conscious or even like scared that the second kiss would never happen or something, you know?
Mhm.
So I've been there, definitely.
So Dawson picks Joey up for their date in like a motorboat. I'm like, you've had this motorboat this whole time, and you had this poor girl rowing across the creek. Like,
That's what well, apparently dating Dawson and being friends with Dawson are two different Dawsons, like in a weird way, you know? Like maybe friends with Dawson, you row yourself, bitch. Who cares?
you can sleep over, but I'm
But
not taking you home.
when you're dating Dawson, oh, you get motorboat access. Is what you get.
um,
Yeah.
so they do their little banter thing. She mentions, maybe we should get a motel room, and she like jokingly says, "I know a good motel," and
Mhm.
I thought it was really cute because is this where he asked if he could hold her hand?
Yeah.
I thought that was cute, even though I don't really like
Well,
them
I'm
together.
saying like that. Yeah. Like there was like a moment where she's like, ready and like she's waiting for him and she sees him in the distance. It's like that perfect slow motion. Like I don't want to like like that he's walking down and she's standing there and I kept thinking to myself, I was like, as long as she's happy, I guess as long as she's happy, I'm
Whenever they're
okay.
together and they're kind of in like close physical proximity to each other, I feel
Yeah.
like she's always like leaning in, like she thinks maybe they'll kiss, and then they don't, and she's like, "Oh, okay." she's
Yeah.
like, she's like,
Yeah.
"No."
Like they keep getting like the shots where their like faces are like this close together.
Yeah,
And like you feel the tension between the two of them. Obviously, they have tons of chemistry, which is great. And
yeah.
it's just kind of like, all right, I'm not gonna fight against like nature and like what's supposed to be, I guess, but I still think she should have went to France.
So they go to the movie theater. Apparently, it's the last night. The theater's closing. Um, and Jen shows up, and Dawson freaks out, and he's like saying, "Joe," he's like, "I didn't invite her." He's like, "I don't know what she's talking about." And then Jen kind of like picks up on the vibe, and she like runs out. And then she does this whole thing in the lobby about how she was basically her sole purpose was the girl to make him realize that he had feelings for another girl.
Well, that's
Yeah.
not wrong.
And he's like trying to tell her it takes time, like she's grieving, that they could be friends. And she's like, "You're just saying all the things that you're supposed to say. You don't really mean it." Like she's really like down.
Yeah. Well, I
Uh,
mean, he's not wrong either. She's grieving a heavy loss. So, like,
yeah.
everything that's going on is amplified by 10. So, like, everything that happens with Dawson, 1,000 times that. Joey's jealousy with Joey, 10 times. She's choosing not to deal with her grief and
Mhm.
putting all of her energy into something that would have been a non-starter before. So,
Right.
I mean, they're both right. She's
Yeah.
both correct. They're both
Right. When Dawson returns to his seat, Joey's gone, and she left the flower that he brought her. So it's like he's like kind of in a weird situation. Like he has to make a choice. Like he can't be the good guy and like be everything to all girls at all times. He has to like if he's gonna be with Joey, he needs to pick Joey.
right.
He
Like,
can't
he
keep.
shouldn't have left her.
Yeah. I mean, I get what he's trying to do. He sees Jen struggling and he wants to be there for her, but like you also have a girlfriend now, and you can't just like neglect her because that's not gonna help your relationship.
And but yeah, also at the same time, what is he supposed to do other than provide emotional support?
Right.
Like he can't bring her grandfather back. He's not going to be with her. So,
Right.
like, what else are you gonna do other than hold her hand and give her a shoulder to lean on when she has plenty of other people to do that for her, her grandmother included, who's also grieving. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, sorry, Jen, but
What makes this worse is she lives next door.
yeah,
Like she could
for
always
sure.
see him and
Absolutely.
Joey like through her window, or like he saw her outside before the date. So like they're always gonna run into each other.
Yeah, yeah,
Never mind in
for sure.
school, like just going home, they're gonna
Yeah,
run into each other.
I mean, like, yeah, they're neighbors.
Yeah.
So, like, all of this kind of just like gearing up, and you just want Jen to like see that like this is all of her hurt feelings really are just in one central location versus like them being her entire life, which is kind of
Yeah.
where we go sometimes when we're in that pit.
We find out that Grams and her grandfather actually had their first date at that theater, and that's why she went there that night because it was closing. Um,
Yeah.
and Jen says that she feels like she has nobody, and Grams kind of reiterates that now Jen is all she has, and she's like, "Well, if I'm all you have, I feel bad for you." And she's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, we bicker." She's like, "But I love you," and I thought that was a sweet moment. I like Grams and Jen scenes; they always give me the warm
Right.
fuzzies.
Yeah. Yeah, I could tell they really care about each other
Hmm.
regardless of their, like, differences, and they're going through this together. I think they should lean each other for sure.
Yeah, because early in the episode, Jen was like freaking out because her grandmother was already like donating his clothes. And she
Right.
explained to her, she's like, "He was sick for a really long time." She's like, "And I'm a nurse." She's like, "I watched him deteriorate." She's like, "I didn't pray for him to get better. I prayed for him to like have release, like to die, like,
Yeah,
to just end his
yeah.
suffering."
You
So
yeah, the levels of maturity, like, both of them, and see the difference between someone who's, like, has been around the block probably a few times,
yeah,
understanding what this means, and someone probably dealing with death from the first time from someone
hmm,
they really care about.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a great juxtaposition of the 2 people and how they deal with the same grief.
yeah. So Dawson finds Joey, and they end up walking to like a little tiny park, and they're on the swings, and they finally have their second kiss and their third
Yeah.
kiss,
Mm.
and
Like I
all of
said, they seem very
they
happy,
seem
so
what?
I'll be okay. They seem very happy.
Right.
Like, so far, like, everyone seems happy, like, they're very in love with each other. They're talking things out, working whatever it is out so far,
Yeah.
and so I'm gonna be like, "Alright, but, as long as you're happy, I'll be okay."
Well, Dawson keeps saying how easy it's gonna be because they know each other so well, and now they can kiss. And I'm like, "Stop saying
I
it's
don't
gonna
like
be easy because it's not gonna be the more you say
that.
it."
Yeah, yeah, I don't like that for like, pretense of foreshadowing. It's like,
Right?
"No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It ain't gonna be easy because like, literally the next episode."
Right. So, that was pretty much it for that episode, so I will play the promo for episode 2. Oop, I gotta press play.
On the next, Dawson's Creek.
A milestone event not everyone remembers.
You don't have anything to say to me. What's up with you?
Today, your birthday?
We'll see.
Sometimes thoughts are somewhere else.
You invaded my privacy.
What I'm really curious about is what's Joey Potter really thinking? Everybody in Cape Side has written me off, and my best friend in the world looks at me the very same way. I don't think I know you at all.
You never did.
An all-new Dawson's Creek next week on the WB Wednesday.
So before we
Mm.
start this episode, there was a line that I wanted to bring up because I was just like, "Oh my god." When Jen at the movie theater said to Dawson, "Could you wait a little while before you jump her bone?" She's like, "'Cause I think that one might send me to razor blades." I was like, "What?"
Right. There is a couple lines, like, in there where you're just like, the teen angst is running strong this season.
Right.
Like, very strong teen angst this season. I can feel it. Like,
Uh-huh.
Pace has been he's on a nut he's, like, on the edge. You can feel it. Like, especially this episode coming up, having a real rough go of it, and a lot of same issues, and then Jen is only just starting to tick, 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 tick up to that same point. It's just,
Right.
oh, wow. Yeah.
Um, So it's Pacey's birthday episode. He failed his permit test, I guess, because your driver's test you're actually in the car.
Well, yeah, they're in the classroom, so I would have. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming. And he's 16, so yeah, it would be a permit. Not quite not quite the driver's license completely. At least
So I
in
guess
PA.
we've seen him drive. I guess he's been driving illegally.
Of course he has. Well, it's already illegal because he stole someone's car,
Right.
and a police car. I can't.
Wow. But Dawson doesn't remember that it's his birthday. I liked when he found Jen and he was like, I got a bad case of the Molly Ringwalds, and she's like, is it your birthday? Like she goes through all the Molly Ringwald movies and she gets to 16 candles and she's like, oh, it's your birthday. So she kind of convinces him that he should do his own thing, throw a party or whatever. And he's like, I'm tired of being Dawson's sidekick. He's like, I'm gonna get my own storyline.
Just wink at the camera while you're at it. You know what I mean? Just go a little, you know.
And then he leaves, and I feel like Jen's just like, oh, here I am alone again. So this is why I feel like she's vulnerable to Abby Morgan.
I don't like this relationship at all. It's so bad.
It's definitely toxic.
So toxic.
Abby definitely feeds into every bad aspect of who Jen used to be and heightens it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Can't stand it.
Yeah, so they start hanging out. Pacey makes flyers for a dock party for his birthday. But it doesn't say birthday party, it just says dock party. Abby has a few bottles of champagne for her and Jen to get drunk and go to the party. We meet Andy's brother, Jack. And we find out that they may not be as well off as Pacey thinks that they are, because Jack is looking for a job, and Andy asked Joey if he could possibly work at the Ice House, I think it's called, the name of the restaurant. Meanwhile, Dawson and Joey are having a little kissy sesh at her house. Because I think we opened this episode with them making out and the parents finding them making out, so now the parents know that they're a couple.
It was so embarrassing. Oh my god. Oh, I had secondhand embarrassment on their behalf.
Did you die when Gail had the sex book for Joey?
And his dad talking about wrapping up, and all that. It's just oh god. Oh, I think I turned red on their behalf. I was just it's so embarrassing. Oh yeah.
There was a little bit of foreshadowing with that too, because they were the gist of the conversation was we tell each other everything or whatever. And then she went to go check on her baby nephew. And he went through her diary and found out that she wasn't a big fan of his movie, at least not that day anyway. And this is where he annoyed me. She's dealing with real life stuff. She's dealing with school. She's helping out at the Ice Palace. She's helping out with the baby, and he's just like, you didn't like my movie? Me. And I'm just like, shut up.
Yeah. To me, it's if you don't want to know don't read it. Right. Don't pick up a book and start reading it if you didn't want to know what happened. And it's kind of very unfair to completely and totally judge someone on something they wrote in their journal. And they shouldn't have to explain it to you, ever.
And she tells him that. She's like, you completely invaded my privacy. Jack ends up working there. I don't know if he's never worked in a restaurant before, but he seems to be a little klutzy. He drops things.
And he is giving Joey the eyes a lot.
Is he?
Yeah. There's tons of a little. They have these lingering shots of him staring at her.
I know he does do that. I guess I didn't notice it in this episode.
Oh, see, to me, I think like, is this someone that's gonna add a little extra spice to the drama that we already know is probably gonna happen? Because they can't have Dawson and Joey together. No, no, no. That can't be possible. They
Right.
have to break up at some point, right?
Right.
So, got
Um,
this nice boy staring at Joey while she's working there,
yeah. Um, so yeah, so he's helping out the Ice Palace. At the party, like Jen is completely wasted, and Abby's like, "Oh,
Mhm.
Abby did this on purpose because she saw Dawson pull up in his motorboat and get out, and she was like, I dare you to kiss the next guy that walks up, knowing it was Dawson." And so Jen did it because Jen's like, I'm not a punk. But then when she realizes it's Dawson, she's like, what did I just do?
Yeah. Yeah, Abby doesn't do anything for no reason, whether
Yeah,
she's drunk or not. She's
right.
doing things specifically to
She's a
get her
shit
own
star.
rocks off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Dawson showed up at the party basically to bitch about Joey not liking his movie to Pacey, and Pacey's like, "Are you fucking serious?" He's like, "You don't." He's like, "You don't even realize why I'm throwing a party today of all days." Like,
Like, remember when I said, like, oh, I felt myself, like, turning over to, like, the idea of them being together and kind of being happy for them? Like, this episode, like, completely ruined that idea for me. Like, just
okay,
watching the way Austin was reacting to Pacey and all that, just not focusing in on, like, obviously Pacey is, like, real pissed off. He's
yeah,
completely oblivious to it, like, the entire time. I'm just like, "Oh, see, same old Dawson, doesn't change. Doesn't matter whether he's with her or not. Same
right.
guy."
Um, so Jack, I guess it's closing time, or maybe the crowd has died down, and Jack and Joey are talking, and she he kind of, because he saw the fight between her and Dawson, is just like, oh, first fight, and she's like, yeah. He's like, that means you haven't had your first makeup yet, and she's like, and that kind of like gives her like the motivation to go find him so that they could do that. um Home music montage to, I think it's called Kiss the Rain, that song. I forgot about that song.
Yeah, yeah,
Of them
yeah. I
slow
was like
motion walking in the rain.
that's what I was saying. I was like, "When did it start raining?" 1,
Right.
and 2, like, how did we get to this scene? Like, I feel like they cut from, like, the restaurant straight to them staring down each other on the end of each street, and I'm like, "There's no lead up to this. How did they find each other? Like, when did she leave the restaurant? I don't
Yeah.
know. Like, a half a second ago? She already made it there?"
She definitely
But
changed,
I'll take
and we saw her leave,
yeah,
but, like, so she definitely went home. She rode across the creek, changed, rode back.
that's what I mean, like, I feel like this is a little bit of an editing situation, like,
Right.
where we probably had a scene somewhere in between that kinda gave you a little bit more, but, like, they're like, "No, we're just gotta get right to it. Get to them making up. They gotta slow we have Kiss the Rain. We gotta be able to use a song."
Before we talk about the end, Andy came to the party, and she had this really funny line because she's, like, socially anxious and awkward or whatever. So he's like, "I don't know." She's like, "People make me anxious." And
Mhm.
he's like, "Well, do I make you anxious?" She's like, "No, you make me mad. Mad trumps anxious."
Yeah. There's a lot of foreshadowing with their relationship.
Yeah.
I keep thinking, I'm like, I feel like I love Andy and Casey together. Like, they would make a cute couple, you know?
Um,
Mhm.
so Joey and Dawson make up, and she doesn't let him completely off the hook. She's like, she basically has to tell him, I liked your movie. She's like, I was just in a bad mood that day. But she's like, what you did was still wrong. And
Yeah.
he admits that it was. And they make up. And then he tells her that he has to go find Pacey because he needs to like make up with him.
Yeah.
They do. And Dawson still offers for them to go to Maine. I guess
Yeah.
Mitch's car, because he calls it the Mitch Mobile.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
Pacey forgave him really quick though. He didn't even like put up a fight in that conversation. I felt like they were already on good terms when he like found Pacey.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like Dawes kinda got off pretty easy on both fronts, you know? Like, I think it was kind of unfair that, he didn't get too much more of a tongue lashing in the journal. And same thing with Pacey. I also agree with that. Just a little too soon.
I think that this is the episode. It is, because stuff happened in the next one. That Mitch proposes possibly having an open marriage to Gail.
Right, that's wild. Like
Yeah.
when his friend proposed it to him,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "What?" Oh, we're going from like potential divorce to just the only way to have a solution to the fact that you can't trust your wife is to just go with an open marriage.
Right.
And it's kind of, it really reeks of like, I need to be able to justifiably go and fuck someone else. So I feel good about myself.
Well,
Yeah.
when his friend
Like,
mentioned it to him, I was like, is he mentioning this because he wants to have sex with Gail? Like, this is like something he's always imagined. So maybe if he has an open marriage, then I can get in there. Like,
I mean that, or he's into Mitch himself. Who knows? These,
yeah.
if he's feeling it, I don't know. But to me, it was just kind of like, I feel like that's the opposite effect that you're going to have. I mean, like, it could foster more jealousy, even in the scenario for which they like agreed to, that they would just have it like one night a week and talk about it honestly. It's kind of like, how, I don't even know if you could.
That's
like, really.
That's a situation for people that are in a good place in their relationship. That's not
Right,
something
who
to
can
repair or
communicate.
Yes.
Who already are able to communicate to each other easily.
With how
They cannot.
With how broken they are, maybe not them specifically, but in a situation like this, the person that proposes it, if their partner agrees to it, usually there's one that's more into the idea than the other. And like you said, that fosters jealousy or whatever. And I've seen people personally that tried that, and the one person said that they were into it and they weren't. They were not okay with it, and they ended up breaking up. It's like having a baby to save a relationship. It never works.
It's like one's being coerced into the situation. In this specific instance, there's pressure on Gail to say yes because she desperately wants their relationship to work. She wants to figure it out, whatever it is. She feels guilty, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, she wants to do whatever he wants. So she's gonna say yes to whatever he asks for.
But I feel like in Gail's brain, I feel like I see like her mind like working. And I feel like in this situation, she wouldn't do it even though she said yes. Or if she says yes. But she'd be constantly thinking about him being with another woman. But she herself would not be with another man.
Right. Well, that's why I think this is like a weird way, like in a subconscious way. Like maybe Mitch is genuinely thinks this will help, but I think he just can't bring himself to like just have an affair. Like, to him, that's so wrong. That would just put him in the same position as Gail. But to me, it's like, if they agree to have an open marriage, it means all that goes away. Like, he can do whatever he wants. And if that's all he wants to do, it's not going to help this relationship. That's not truly an open marriage. That's you just trying to find a way to feel good about yourself because, she emasculated you by having sex with someone else, which is very sexist of him. So it's kind of like, grow up, grow up, or like figure or get better, like one way or the other. Like, you can't just, play in this vague gray zone forever and expect things to be okay. It's like, decide. It's time to get up and decide.
So Jen admits to Abby that she wants Dawson back. At least that's what she thinks she wants. And Abby's like, then we're going to get him back for you.
Of course she does that.
God help us all.
I know. Like, Abby's like, hell yeah, more drama? That's me. I'm the problem.
And Dawson and Pacey make up. They get into his motorboat. He wishes him a happy birthday. And that's how it ends. So I will play the promo for episode 3.
Woo, let's go.
Change is coming. from every direction.
Don't even try to tell me that when you were my age, you were sneaking around and making out with girls in the backs of cars.
You have to show him the old, naughty Jen, because this new Jen just isn't working.
You don't know anything about me.
You're right. I don't know anything about you, and you know even less about me. Things aren't working out for you on the ice, pal. You're fired. Do you mind if I just crash here for the night?
An all-new Dawson's Creek next week on the WB.
That promo was a little misleading on some things.
Some stuff. Oh, but some things just makes me go, damn, girl, damn.
So they showed it in the promo. So right off the bat, Dawson's parents are taking away Joey's ladder so she can't climb in his window. And they can have sex.
They're like, you're not gonna have unprotected sex under our watch. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. It's the right thing to do.
Right.
These parents are being good parents. They figured it out. They're doing the right thing. I condone this.
So Dawson is fighting them the whole way, and they're just being strict, and they leave Dawson alone in his room. And because Joey does that creepy thing where she hides out in Dawson's closet, she comes out the closet and they start making out. But then Mitch walks in and sees them kissing, and he's like, "Joey, how'd you get here?"
Yeah. All right, get the hell out of here, you know.
Yeah. And Dawson's like, "See you in a few minutes," and he's like, "No, you won't." I want to say remove the hook that I noticed in the finale for her to pull herself up.
Mm-hmm. Oh my god. Yes. The sass level on these children, I can't.
So the main storyline in this episode I actually really liked. I thought it was interesting. So they're all in economics class and they get paired off and they're given different life situations. There's these football players that are like gym rats that end up being a same-sex couple, and they're like, "What do you mean same-sex?" They're like, "Gay," and they're like, "I'm not gay." Jen and Dawson get paired together, much to Jen's delight and Abby's. Abby gets paired with the nerd in the class, and Joey gets to be a single mom of 2. And Pacey and Andy get paired together.
Yeah.
I think Pacey was like a bus driver, and Andy was, I don't remember what Andy was.
A sales clerk.
A sales clerk. Okay. So Andy's like really into it. They're like looking at real apartments, I guess, trying to get like real prices on things. I don't know why they were looking at real apartments.
The teacher said to immerse yourself into the real world applications of the project.
Joey wants to get the point of view from like a real life successful working mom, and Betsy's it's me. Joey's like,
Betsy's like, well, you can talk to me. I know how to budget. I'm the successful single mom. Which I was like, yeah, girl, are you a single mom? What happened to your husband?
We never get any explanation about him. He disappears and then he like reappears, and they never talk about like Bessie's relationship, like what's going on there.
Right, like this interaction about how she was so ready to be like this person. I'm like, Bessie, are you single? Is that true? Is he supposed to he abandoned his child and his wife?
Right.
Take care of this restaurant themselves? Okay, this is how we know.
Right. What else happened? Oh, so this is where Jen and Abby plot her seduction of Dawson.
So messy.
Joey ends up meeting with an artist, I think, or an interior designer, maybe, because she had Joey looking at floor plans.
So this voice of this woman sounded very familiar to me. And when I looked up and I was like, is that Rosario Dawson?
No.
No, not. It was just like her. Oh, no. I'm about to Google it.
It's not.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Oh, come on. I wrote it down in my notes. I was so excited. I was like, I finally found one.
It's not.
Oh, I'm bummed out now.
I don't know the actress's name, but I do know her face because she was on a season of Party of Five before this. Yeah. Did you watch Party of Five?
No, but I know of it. It's
Yeah.
like kind of like how I know of Dawson's Creek. I know
Mhm.
it existed. It was very popular, and I
Yeah.
did not watch.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's not Rosario Dawson. I was like, who is she talking about? I thought maybe it was like somebody in the classroom.
Oh no, Rosario Dawson! Because like she sounded so much like her. Like, because I was thinking, I was like, God, I know that voice, and I was looking at her, and it kind of looks like her. I was like, but the timing feels really wrong because the time of the show,
Uh-huh.
and like I know Rosario Dawson's not that that old.
No.
Like she's got to be,
She
like
probably would have
in
been the
her
same
like
age as
40s.
them. Maybe a little older.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it would have been really weird. She was a full-grown adult on this show, but I was like, well, maybe I don't know. Maybe she plays older. I don't know. Like, so I just went with Rosario Dawson. That's what I wrote down.
um, Mitch has decided that Thursday night is date night, so they're gonna do their open marriage thing on Thursday nights. But Gail is
Yeah,
like so not into this that she forgets that he said that, and she like cooks dinner on Thursday night, and he's like, I'm going out. It's Thursday, and she's like, oh right, I have a date
right.
too. Just kidding. I made this for Dawson.
Yeah.
And then she tells
Like, oh,
Dawson,
I was.
if your father comes home, tell him I'm out. And she like, I think she like purposely stayed out late to make him think that she was like partying. She was like just sitting by herself at a coffee shop.
I don't think either of the two of them did any of the things they said they did. I think
No,
they did at coffee shop.
he looked like a guy that hasn't been out in years and doesn't know how to flirt, and he just like got a beer
Right.
and like was so awkward at the bar by himself and like
And I don't think either of them did anything. I think they
yeah.
just hung out and then came home and went to bed
And they're
and
like,
then
I
went,
had
oh,
fun. I can't wait till next Thursday. It's a blast.
oh, I'm sure. It's exactly why they shouldn't have done this. It's not them. They're not people to be doing something like this at all. It's just going to hurt them.
Abby's being a complete bitch to her partner. She's not helping out with her project at all.
I really, oh, I really couldn't get over how little Jen did anything about her treatment of that boy. Like she just sat there and let Abby talk complete and total garbage to that boy, and she
Yeah,
said nothing. I was shocked. I
yeah,
was like, "Who is this woman? Who is Jen?" I'm like,
right.
"What happened to her?
What
She's not
happened?
this.
Yeah.
She's not." I was like, "This is not Jen." I'm like, Jen would have been like, "Abby, don't do that." Like, at least the Jen we were known to, we've known up until this point,
Right.
not the same person at all.
Um, so Joey also has this added pressure on her with the Ice Palace because apparently the what are they called? Food inspection is
Health
coming.
inspection.
Health inspection
Hmm.
is coming.
Hmm.
So Bessie is very much like, we have to make sure that the restaurant is cleaned every single night. Like it has to be immaculate. She's like, mop behind the refrigerator. We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah,
And I
like
thought it was so funny.
giving
Jack
Joey
didn't
like,
know how to mop. He thought you just like poured the bucket.
poor guy. But like to be honest, when he dumped the bucket, I thought, oh, I used to do that back in the day because there would be a drain in the floor. Most of the time in the back of the kitchen, they have a drain in the floor. That way
Uh-huh.
you can literally dump water and you scrub a lot and it goes
Hmm.
down. That's what I thought. So when she freaked out, I was like, oh, I guess they
There's
don't
no
have
drain.
one of those. But like Betsy's been like giving Joey like, can you do this? Oh, by the way, can you do that? And can you do this too? And then this and this, and this and this and this. Just like one after another while she's
It's a lot.
trying to go to school. Yeah.
These people, she wanted to
Yeah,
do
where's
so
your
much.
husband?
Like, she wanted to do so much before school, and I'm just like, what time are you guys
Yeah,
getting up? The sun's up, but like, what time are you guys waking up that you have all this time to do this?
right? Seriously.
It's almost like she
That's
forgets
what I'm
that
like.
she's in school and she has to like do her schoolwork.
Right.
So good for
Yeah, where's
Joey
your
for
husband?
like having good grades and being able to deal with all that on the side.
For sure.
What else happened? Oh, so Joey ends up finishing her project before everybody else because The woman offers her free advice for her project if she like gives her advice on like restaurants, because she like makes her look at a
Yeah.
model, and Joey's like, well, I work in a restaurant. She's like, you would never have the bar this far away from the kitchen. She's like, because then the servers have to like run back and forth and it's a mess. So she's like, oh, I'd like to pick your brain on other things. So I think this woman sticks around for a few episodes
Okay.
because she's into art, and this opens up a new facet to Joey, we'll say.
Yeah.
A new interest.
I think she said you can intern with. She could intern with her at
Right.
any time she wants to. And she was giving advice to them about like their restaurant. Like she
Mhm.
was giving Joey advice to Bessie about like new logo, new menu, probably some advice on how to like budget and stuff. And Bessie was like, I don't think so. She's real jealous. She got really jealous about the fact that like Joey was getting all this advice from her.
Yeah. Um, and they fought, and she, the next morning, she fires Joey
Yeah.
because she realizes. I think this is where I think she realizes that she's a kid and she needs to like focus on school. And but Joey's still gonna
Yeah.
help out. That's her family's business. She's not like not gonna help out.
Right.
So they had a nice little sisterly makeup, and Joey tells her that she's proud of her and she loves her and she loves Alexander, which is the nephew. Oh, so Jen's seduction. So Jen wears this like slinky dress, and she shows up at Dawson, and Dawson and Joey are outside in the front yard, kissing, and Joey kind of like sarcastically is like, "Nice dress," and she's like, "Thanks, I borrowed it." She's like, "I bet." I'm like, "Ooh."
Yeah. There's no love lost. I'm really upset because I wanted them to be best friends. And this bullshit with Jen is not gonna make
I
them
know.
best friends.
I think it was this episode that I was like, "Well, I guess Joey and Jen are not the love story of the show."
They are not gonna be best friends. Well, there's still time
There's still time.
because again, I think I like so like at the end of episode 2, there is a moment where Jen does look in the mirror at herself after being really messy at that party
Yes.
and kind of like has a little bit of a come to Jesus moment about like, what am I doing with myself right now?
Yeah.
But then doubles down the next episode on like, I'm gonna be wild and messy.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping she wakes up and then maybe later on her and Jen can still be friends. Joey can be friends, but
Yeah. Jen and Dawson finished their project. They apparently it's late. She does a lot of like, hanging over the desk so her boobs are out, and she gives him a massage. And Dawson actually had
literally lays her boobs on his neck.
Dawson literally like for once had a moment where he's like, I see what's been going on. He's like, you've been flirting with me all night. He's like, it's not gonna happen. And Jen kisses
No.
him. And she
She sure
flat out
did.
tells him, she's like, I just want to let you know that you have options. And I was just like, that's spicy. But then when she leaves the room where he can't see, she kind of has this moment like, oh my God, he turned me down. Like,
Yeah.
she played the tough New York girl, but she's like heartbroken.
Right. Well, that's what I mean. Like these moments where we're getting a little glimpses into like this is not who Jen really wants to be. I mean, like when she came to Dawson, she came to this place. She didn't want to be that person anymore. Like that was the whole point of
Yeah.
like being different, not being.
There's gotta be like a middle ground with Jen, because even the person she was trying to be, the good girl, she had moments where she was like, she's like, I'm getting a little like antsy. Like she wants to be, she has an edge to her. She's not that perfect good girl, but she's not this wild child either. There's got to be like an in between. Yeah.
Like there's a decent person there that understands the difference between right and wrong.
Mhm.
And like her acting messy with Dawson because he feels some type of way about being looked over for Joey or whatever, even though she knew that's what she was walking into when she got here, is like I feel like that's in her and she knows it's not right. But she's going with it because she's like, fuck it right now, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So Andy and Pacey fight while working on their project, and he basically calls her a spoiled rich girl, and she's like, "You know nothing about me." And he ends up going to the
Oh,
Ice Palace and has a talk with Jack, and Jack pretty much lays it out how it really is, how they used to have money and now they're kind of on tough times. He's like, "Why do you think I'm working?" He's like, "If we were rich, I wouldn't be working at this restaurant right
yeah,
now."
like why would I be here mopping a kitchen floor, dude? Like, yeah,
So the next day when they all turned in their projects, I like that Kenny, Abby's partner, was like, "Abby did no work." He's like, "Her name's on it, but she did nothing."
good for him. I was hoping that he would call her out because she is awful to him, like
Yeah.
just straight up awful. There was no reason for it. He didn't do anything to her other than just be like, "Hey, man, we need to work on this," and she just basically like insulted him every
Yeah.
step of the way. So I really hope for sure that she doesn't get any credit for that because you
Yeah.
know that poor kid.
Andy, apparently not trusting Pacey, did her own project by herself, just her. Like she said, from the wife's perspective. But Pacey shows up and he did the whole project. So the teacher thinks that the wife's perspective was like, I guess, like a bonus section of their project. So I feel like they're probably
Oh.
going to get a good grade on it.
Yeah, I think so. He got his What did he get? His Volvo? Is that what he asked for? He wanted to, or his
Yeah.
London, the car. Yeah, he's like, so did we
And
get the car? And he's like,
their
yeah,
one bedroom apartment with what, like 2 kids?
five people, one
Like,
bedroom. Jesus Christ!
he said a
It's like,
family that
wow.
lays. He said a family that lays together stays together.
Yeah, I like them. I think they're really cute. I love the way they balance each other out. I feel
Mhm.
like he kind of, and he's unhinged, and she's kind of very grounding. So I
Mhm.
like this. I like this friendship for sure. I like them together.
But as they're having their little banter back and forth, a little blast from the past, Tamara has returned. And
I like
she's
she's
got her eyes
back.
on
Oh
Pacey.
no! Oh
Were you
no!
like,
But
"Oh no!"
I did. Yeah. At first, I was like, the way he's like looking at him, like this, like over her shoulder, like with her glasses down, like scowling. I was about like, girl, you better not scowl. That man's trying to get his shit together, and you're gonna come up here and mess up his life like that. But then she smiled when she saw them, and I was like, okay. I'm like, please, girl, leave that boy be. He is like finally with someone his own age,
Oh,
and
did you take it that
give
she
it
was
a chance.
smiling at them? I thought she was just smiling at seeing Pacey.
I thought she's okay. So again, this is me just hoping against all hope. So she has like a good mind in her head to leave this underage boy alone because he's still our age. Like
Yeah.
there's still 2 more years, girl.
Right.
2 more years.
He's
And
not
it's
even the
like
age of consent, which is 17. Like he just turned 16 last episode.
just turned 16. It's like I know you're kind of like whatever vibe you got going on with him. It's not legal yet, friendo. Like turn around, drive away. So like my thought was like at first the look was like her going, "Oh my god, it's Pacey," and then realizing that he's talking to this girl that's his own age, that she kind of smiled, being happy for him that he found something that made him that made him like smile like that or talk like that or whatever.
Hmm.
That's what I hope. Again, I don't
Yeah.
know. Who knows what she's
She
thinking.
could have been
That
happy that he
woman's
was happy or looked happy with someone his own age, which is what she wanted.
yeah,
So,
exactly. Because at
um,
the end, that's how they left it. Like she was trying to get him to understand, like, we can't work. It's not okay. Like our relationship's not
yeah.
good for us, either one of us.
So I actually have the preview for the next episode to tease you a little bit.
Oh my god.
It was the affair that cost one teacher her job and one teenage boy the love of his life.
Sometimes it's right to do the wrong thing.
Next Wednesday, she's back.
Do you miss, teaching?
Yeah, very much.
I realized last night that I'm not entirely over her.
An unforgettable affair reignited at all new Dawson's Creek on the WB.
So how do you feel about that?
Well, Well, okay, here's the thing about these previews is that they love to do a little pump fake. It's like trying to like maybe they do temporarily reunite, but maybe something happens that splits them up all right over again. Because like God, again, like this is not healthy for him or her. Like it's not. Like
Also,
let him. Uh,
that promo made it seem like they were this epic romance that like they belong together, and I'm just like, it's illegal. Stop promoting this.
no, like no. That's what I mean. Like this whole like each preview that we've seen so far. If you have noticed, there's always lots of like pump fakes, like
Yeah.
leading red herrings. Like there's not a lot there that's actually rooted in what actually happens in
Right.
the episode. So like as much as this wants me to believe that she's here to just snatch Pacey up like the crazy old lady that she is, I don't want to believe it. I think she has. I don't know why she's back, but she's back to kind of like maybe she needs a job. She's on the ends, but like let him get to know Andy. Like Andy's a good girl. She deserves to get to know Pacey. Pacey deserves some stability in his life. He deserves someone that like appreciates him because like the last episodes, Dawson just who's Pacey
Yeah.
anymore. He's got Joey. He's
Yeah.
fine, and his family life is not okay. Like
Yeah.
so there's Pacey needs someone that like can actually like be there for him and she cannot,
Right.
not the way he needs it to be.
So we have new characters. We have Andy and Jack. Do you like them?
I do. I do. I really like Andy. I think Andy's a genuine person. Jack, we don't know too much about, but I think he likes Joey because there's all these like lingering eyeball shots of him kind of just looking at her.
They're not in the opening
And he's
credits, but they're in most of season 2's episodes, so they're pretty much regulars.
cute.
They're just not credited as regulars.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he, like I said, he's a cute guy, so there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
And
he's
and
done that's Chris Smith. He's done stuff. He was also in Final Destination, actually. He's done a
oh,
bunch of movies, TV guest appearances. He's actually all gray now. He's like a silver fox.
ooh, I believe it.
Yeah.
I believe it. He's like, yeah, he's like one of those like perfect, like he's like not too pretty, but
Mhm.
just enough that you're kind of not intimidated by him, but he's definitely very attractive.
Yeah.
And whatever mess that goes on between Abby and Dawson and Jen, I need Joey to have something for herself. So like if there's something that's gonna be there for Joey during this month, this messy, messy mess, I'm okay with him because he's fine.
I think the next 3 episodes are gonna be really good. I think you're gonna like them. They're exciting.
Yeah.
So,
I'm gonna slap Abby one day. Woo, mama, she needs a good slapping. Somebody needs to beat the piss out of Abby, real good.
I
mean,
think I
like real good.
retroactively like Abby. I think watching this for the first time, I hated her, but then, like, on
Yeah.
rewatches, like, I'm like, "Okay, she's annoying but fun annoying." Right now, it's just annoying because it's the first time, but, like, I don't know, I
Yeah.
kinda grew to like her.
Yeah, I can see why she's awesome because she brings the drama. Like she
Mhm.
acts like she adds the sass to things when with like a lot of these very intellectual teens. Like she
She's
feels like a legitimate mean teen. So
she's a pathological liar. She doesn't have any redeeming qualities, and I think that's why she's annoying. Because it's not
yeah,
like she's like an
yeah, like
anti-hero or like she comes off like a villain, but like we see the softer side of her. She's just a bitch.
so you're saying we never see any redemption for Abby?
I will spoil that and say never.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, then I'm just gonna hate her anyway. Then I don't like the toxicity of her and Jen's relationship. So, like to me, I'm just like, ew, girl, get out of here.
Yeah. But did you have anything else to add before I wrap this up?
Nothing really. Just that, like the train she is. I left the station and gonna be hitting a lot of drama stops. I can feel it in my bones.
You feel it in your bones.
I feel it in my bones.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us as we launched season 2 of Dawson's Creek. We'll be back next week with another batch of episodes. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great week. Bye.